America is like, well, not only America, I suppose, but the world. But since I live in America, I have to make my observations about the world I live in. It's like an ostrich society. You know, they just bury their head in the sand, and their butts get chewed out by the enemy. You know, the funny thing about this is that if you bury your head, I know that ostriches don't bury their head in the sand. That's ridiculous. I lived in Africa, and I know that isn't true. But you know, hypothetically or metaphorically, whatever you want to call it, it's people do. They don't face what they can't deal with, and they don't know how to deal with evil, and it defeats them. And they can't face the truth of the defeat, so they dig their head in the sand. And then the person who tries to say, "Hey, take your head out of the sand," your butt's getting chewed out. That's the enemy. Reality is your enemy. It looks like the evil. That which has caused you to put your head in the sand, see, that's what keeps on causing you to fail. And people like myself who try to wake you up to reality cause you to dig your head in the sand because of the tendency of every person who has sinned to deny sin. See? As if denying sin, like if you don't see that you've sinned, you don't see how wrong you are, that's okay. And so denial is the biggest factor that aids and abets the evil in the world. If it wasn't for the factor of denial, this world would be a beautiful place. We see that we're wrong, and we face it, and it would have no more power over us. It's that simple. Well, what do you think alcoholics do? They do something wrong in their life. They get mad at their mother. They get mad at their wives. They go out in a fit of rage and do something dumb, and so they learn that drink is a way of helping them to run away from the guilt. And now they drink to run away from the guilt. That's burying the head in the drink. See? And the sooner they've done that, they get another guilt. Why do they have another guilt? Well, because the guilt is one thing, but then the denial of the guilt is a greater guilt. Now I don't think you have to have a college education. You know, if you have a kid that does something wrong and you say, "Hey, Jimmy, what did you do that for?" "I see you did it." No. Jimmy will try to make you think you're crazy. He'll try to wriggle it out with the kid next door. And it will be so obvious to you, the parent, that he's trying to make you think that there's something wrong with you, seeing something wrong with him. It makes you really mad. Can you imagine how mad God can get? I mean, how that can really cut you off from real salvation and bind you over to that which helps you make the excuse. In other words, you're burying your head in the sand, and here comes a friendly enabler and said, "Here's a drink. Bury your head in this and you'll feel better." See? Then you have a woman's bosom. She says, bury your head in that and you feel better. That's where it all begins, actually. That's why it turns to drink. I was invited to the Los Angeles Press Club with Art Linkletter and Mercedes McCambridge and another speaker, and I was supposed to be a speaker there. They didn't really know what they were getting into, but it was the most terrifying experience of their lives. Very polite round of applause afterwards. It was a symposium on alcoholism. I got up in this room full of smoke, and the glasses were clinking. I said, "I don't believe you guys." That's what a bunch of hypocrites. So I said, "What am I going to do?" I said, I can't even talk to you because I'm choked up from the smoke. And you stand there and think yourself able to help all these alcoholics. This is a symposium in alcoholism, and look at you. Most of you are pleasingly sozzled, you know, and you're smoking your heads off. I mean, you know what I went on to say. It was just... So, but anyway, I had a pamphlet, and it says, the pamphlet read, Emotion, the Mother of Addiction. I have some real neat titles, except they're really turn on. I thought that would turn everybody on. Gee, that's a clue. When I want to buy a book, when I go to a movie, I want to know by the cover what's in the movie. Somehow the title is going to betray what's in the movie. I don't understand One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest. I never went to see that for years because I didn't want to see anybody flying over a cuckoo nest. But it was an interesting movie when I finally got to see it. And I figured, well, I put the cover, what's in my book. That's fair enough. But then I find out that nobody wants emotion, the mother of addiction. That's the worst thing you could say. I thought everybody would pick it up. I could see all the reporters and all the potentates. They picked up everything on the table except that one. I'm afraid of my titles. So I just have to, say One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest, and maybe they'll... The thing is, also when you read my books, it's a bit of a shocker. A lot of people read my books and they say, I don't understand what this man's saying. That's because they're into denial. They think they pick up another book and there's another way of sort of stroking the little fat egos. And it starts telling them, it's saying, hey, wake up, hey, wake up, hey, wake up. You see, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. It's not saying, there, you're all right, with a bunch of excuses. And so I don't know about this country, but look how many people are here tonight, not that many. If I was, a Crystal Cathedral preacher, whatever his name is, oh, hypocritical sneer face, and people are attracted to that by the sheer attraction of the hypocrisy. See, those churches, you wonder why people go to those places, and people flock to them with these religious hypocrites, the swaggards and the bakers and this other fellow. And it's written, hypocrite is written all over his face. He sort of doesn't smile at you, he sneers at you. It's like a hate-love smile. I can't imitate it. But it's a sneer. It's almost attractive. It's the kind of sneer that a woman, when she smiles at you, there's a sort of like the same sort of thing. She's like, you ever see the look of a whore when she sort of looks and smiles at the prospective client? There's a certain smile that is sort of like a naughty smile, like, I got you. But the victim only sees the smile. He doesn't see the got you side of it, But if you're really objective, you see the got you side and you want to stay the hell away.